In this chapter, we'll talk about tabs and tables and how tabs and tables can be an easy way to add data tables to your documents. You'll see here my typical InDesign document that I've used in some of the previous chapters. And what I've done is I've copied and pasted this text into a tab text file here. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this text, and I'm going to go up to the Type menu and select the Tabs panel. Here I can see all of my tabs. If this tabs bar gets off track, situated away, and I press that magnet button, it will link right back to the top of my tabs table so I can easily see where those tabs line up. Tabs in InDesign are similar probably to other programs that you may have worked with. I have this little downward pointing arrow to represent where my tabs are indicated in the document, and also I can tell whether it's a left aligned tab, as this one is, a center aligned tab, a right aligned tab, or a decimal aligned tab. I'm going to select one of these tabs to show you what I mean. When a tab is selected, you'll see it turns this blue color. And now I can choose to center my items on that tab, or right align my items on that tab, or I can choose what's called a decimal align. If I select that decimal align, it allows me to select also which character I'd like to align my figures on. So in this case, the common character in all of these is my dash. So for my align on character, I'm going to highlight the period there, that's the default, and instead I'm going to enter the dash key. You can see that once I've entered that, now all of my commands here are aligned along that dash at the point of the tab. I can manually set the positioning of the tab within my text box by entering an X value for the tab, or I can just click and drag until I have it located where I want it. If I want to add a new tab, I can just click directly in that little tabs panel. I'm going to undo that because I didn't want it there. And if I have an extra tab, I can also click and just drag it off to get rid of it. The other thing that InDesign lets me do if I select my tab, and I'm going to set that back to a left aligned tab because I think it looked a little better. I can select what's called a leader for my tab. What that means is if I enter a character here, such as a period, it will create a dotted line leading up to my next entry at the end of the tab. That can be useful for things such as menus. You may see that frequently. I'm going to get rid of it on that tab on the top because we don't need it there. But it can be helpful for aligning information. The last thing I'll point out with the tabs is that there is a small panel menu on the side here. It'll allow me to clear all the tabs, to delete the tabs, and also to create what's called a repeat tab if I know I'm going to need a tab at regular intervals. So if I enter a repeat tab, it will create a second tab or fill this bar of tabs at exactly the same interval. You can see that the second tab is now placed at exactly the same distance that this first tab is from the beginning. So that can be useful if you know that you're going to have a number of items that you'd like to organize by tabs. I'm going to hit Control-Z to get rid of that. I'm also going to get rid of that leader here because in this particular document, I don't think it's that useful. So I'm going to select my tab and remove the leader. So that's basically how you work with tabs.